So, Fernando Sor, Opus 60, number 14. This is on the grade 3 syllabus, the syllabus that finishes in 2008. This piece is interesting in various ways, partly because it's a technically early example of the sort of piece you sometimes get later on, where the composer's going into kind of tragic poem mode. And so it's a pretty serious piece. At the same time, it's only marked as andante, so it mustn't kind of drag its feet. It's not a slow piece as such, it's merely quite modest in speed. Important things to think about in this piece very much is the sonority that you're making, and especially making sure that the sound that you make is quite resonant and open. There are a lot of open strings. The first bar, for example, is all open strings. It's a bit of a giveaway. Almost every note in this piece really has to be free stroke. There's a couple of places where a judicious rest stroke can help with one or two elements, which we'll mention as we go along, but I would, if in doubt, do the whole piece with free stroke all the way through. A couple of particular technical things to pick up on. The beginning of the second bar, we have this strange thing. We have a very like a shrunk up quaver with an arrow through its tail. This is an acciaccatura, or a grace note, and the thing with this kind of note is it's crushed in. It has no rhythmical time of its own at all. And so what you do is you put all the fingers on that you need, 2 on the A, 1 on the C, 4 on the D, and you play the A, the E, the A and the D together, and then you slur from the 4 onto the C as quickly as you possibly can. So it's like just slurred straight on. And the same thing is of course true wherever you get that note in this piece. The other little thing to pick up on, when you get bar 7 just before the repeat, it's quite important you remember to keep your second finger on the C, you keep that one glued on, and you play the E and the G and the F sharp and the A, keeping that second finger on. It's the bass note, and it's really crucial that you, at the end of the bar, you've got all those notes sounding, then you go to the D sharp and the B in the second time bar. Remember, you don't do the first time bar when you're not doing a repeat in a piece like this. Fairly crucial technical thing about the piece, if you look at the beginning of the Opus 60, there's this little quotation from the preface where it talks about what the composer wants you to do. It's basically you leave fingers on until you have to remove them. Now it's a little bit of a simplification, but as a principle it's fine. And what it means is that you think about the chord shapes that lie behind the notes that you're playing, and by keeping those notes on, it increases that sense of the sort of resonance that we mentioned at the very beginning. Good examples are places like bar 12 and 13, for example. Let's go through from the beginning. So you've got your chord at the beginning, just open strings. Make your acciaccatura nice and crisp. And then the third beat, there's all rests, so make a nice rest there. Same as the beginning. Now that E is one that you might want to rest stroke. It gives it a bit of an extra push. The line jumps up there, so it can be nice just to give that E a bit of a push. And then into the second time bar. And there's some slightly strange looking fingering in this bar. Basically what the fingering is doing is looking ahead to help you get through the next couple of chord changes. So for example, when it's the 2 and the 3 and then the 1 and the 3, it's helping you think about the next bar. So as I said, bar 12, it's really important you keep all those fingers on. The D stays on, and then the 2 and the 1 stay on, and then you simply change to the 1 and 3. So by the end of the bar, you've got this A minor chord shape on there. your second finger on E, it's going to stay on all the way through the next bar. You add the 4 on the C, and then hey, your 2 is still on the A, on the E there. Then everything changes, chord changes. This is another moment that people quite often have kittens over. Nice easy chord here, the first finger's on the A sharp, and then your first finger comes up to the B, and you've got to make quite a big stretch to the F sharp, and then the D sharp as well. There's a right hand thing that can help us through with this as well. If you think about the bar before, when you've had the C, and then the B in the bass, and the A sharp in the bass, you've been doing that with the thumb on the bass of course, and I and A on the top strings, because you're missing out the B string, you're not playing any Bs, so if you're missing out a string you miss out a finger. So you've got the I and the A, so you're doing that with those. And then your thumb stays where it is, but your fingers move one string nearer the ceiling, so you're catching the F sharp with your I finger, and your D sharp with your A finger like that. So it goes. And then it tells you to release the chord, you've just got the B on its own. And then the A that follows is part of the lower voice. So it's a nice idea to play the B fairly clearly, and then very gently play the A, and make sure that the finger that plays the A doesn't touch the B. Because it's a separate voice kind of taking the piece back to where it started like that. Here the B keeps going, the A steers away down to the chord like that. Like the beginning, except without the bass note in that bar. The rest again. And then the G sharp pushes up, play the D. Quite important, that rhythm's quite snappy. All of a sudden you've gone from lots of quite long slow notes, all of a sudden a dotted quaver and a semiquaver. So let's have a play all the way through the piece.